Okay, so here we have a nice bioretention area or rain garden. This one I actually probably would classify as a rain garden because anybody remember how I distinguished between the two last time when we talked about it, or when I talked about it in class? Not necessarily the size. So you could have a gigantic rain garden or a very small bioretention, but there's another couple pieces that go into it. Anybody remember?
Like how engineered it is, like if there's like an underdrain.
Exactly. So if there's an underdrain structure underneath, an overflow structure that goes into the stormwater system. So usually those kind of features are done where you've got a lot of activity around, or other impervious surfaces, buildings. So when we go to the center of campus, that one is going to be what I would call bioretention. This was just what I would call a rain garden. This was a simple excavation, all done by hand, actually, by students. So the student chapter of the Soil and Water Conservation Society wanted to do a project. So one of the guys that was on that worked with me. We had to jump through a gazillion hoops with the university to get permission to actually do this. You would not believe how much trouble it takes to actually make that happen. But we did this as a nice spring project with the group and installed this in an afternoon. So you can see the downspout that's on the building, right? So if you look up at the roof, you can see that this downspout catches about a quarter of this building. All right, so there's a pitch on that roof, a crown. Half of the roof comes this way. That other side of the building gets the downspout on that end. So this gets a quarter of the water from this roof, and it used to go into that pipe that's right there. Anybody know where that pipe goes?
Down into the basement of the building?
Good guess, but it doesn't go directly into the basement. In this case, it goes out right over there and dumps out in a pipe down behind this hill and goes into Roberts Brook, which goes down behind Horse Barn Hill over there. And that is, as I think I may have mentioned this at one point, that this is now an impaired water body from deep. They've classified this as impaired. So the roof of this building was directly connected to that stream and that impaired stream, okay? And which goes down all the way to the drinking water reservoir down the road. So again, this really just highlights how that direct connection makes this building potentially impact stuff very far away. So what we've done here is disconnect that pipe and direct the water into the garden and let it sink in. So the plants, I didn't talk too much about the plants, so I guess I mentioned them a little bit the other day. These are plants that are native to our region, ones that are around the outside of wetlands, so facultative wetland plants. Drew could tell us a lot more about those, right, from your exam that you just had. So they can tolerate being submerged at some points in time, but also drying out at other points. So we had our couple of droughts this year, but the plants didn't die, okay? So they survived okay here, and now they're going dormant for the season. So we've got that nice river birch on the end. Again, I mentioned that the other day from the towers one. Got some nice winterberry in there. Okay, so that's a nice plant, nice visual appeal, provides some food for the birds through the winter. So multiple benefits to these types of plants. Any questions on this one? So this kind of setup, this is what a residential rain garden would look like. So if someone wants to put one in at their house, this is about the size that it would be, about the scale. You usually would have vegetative perennials, maybe a tree, but most likely shrubs and vegetative perennials. So this is what a residential rain garden would look like. Drew.
What do you think the capacity of how much water it can take?
So he's asking about the capacity. So this one, we use that sizing formula that I showed you guys the other day. Basically, since this is 100% impervious watershed, we figured out the square footage that drains up, that is that roof that drains to this point, divided it by 6 because it was about a 6-inch depression, and that gave us the square footage for the rain garden. So that's how we sized it. I can't remember exactly what the numbers are. I can look that up before next week, though. Good question. Anything else? All right, shut the video down.